Wouldn't it be amazing if you could have another emotion besides anger? If anger didn't run your life, if you just didn't have angry and not angry? In this video, we look at why men have the disposition to be angry so much and how you can get over it. I started getting angry when I was like a little boy, and I got respect after that. I used to get bullied as a kid. I got people take my lunch money when I was in grade 8, and then I grew in grade 9, and I remember one of the bullies was picking on me, and I just pushed him. I was so angry, I just pushed him, and I was like, fuck you. And anger became my go-to. I had anger and happy. That was really kind of it. And sad. But no one saw the sad. They saw angry and they saw happy. So I was smiling. It was okay. He was okay. I'd say sorry for my anger. But when I got sad, I just hide in my room. And so many men have what it seems like two emotions. Like baseline of like smiling, okay, but like one word, one sentence, one thing, anger, boom, right through the roof. And this is celebrated in our culture, actually. And the point of this video is to face it and know that there's other emotions and there's other ways of being besides just being angry. For starters, if you're angry all the time, welcome to the club. I used to be a card-carrying member, and I think I was the president. And I think that was one of the worst things about all of my relationships. Started when I was 18, 19, and then right up until my marriage that didn't work out, is because I kind of think that they were supposed to fix me. That's what I kind of figured out when I did my steps, my 12 steps. And my mom died, and like, oh, this girl will fix me, and then this girl will fix me, and then this girl will fix me, and then they didn't, and I would just get mad, and I would just like yell and say the worst things, and just awful. It was awful. And just ask yourself, do you do this? Do you think someone should be a certain way? Your wife, your partner, your employees, your children, the roads, drivers, so many things. And you just like explode and rage. I get so angry. Oh my God. And we wear it like a badge. Like, oh my God, look out for that guy. He gets so angry. So just know if that's you. And I have a guy, one of my clients, actually, he came to me because he got mad at one of his employees. Employees doesn't do his job well. They get fines, they get tickets. It looks bad on like the guy who I work with. The guy doesn't lose his job. So his boss and his boss's boss don't fire him. And it just drove him nuts. And he flipped out one day. And we've been working on it. It's like other guy hasn't changed, but the guy that I'm working with is like, well, that's just the way he is. And if no one else seems to care, I don't need to like lose my top over it. But it's like just 1 second away from like losing it at all times. So yeah, find a way to deal with your anger for sure. Like go to the gym or walk or surf or garden or whatever. But the thing is like, that's an activity to deal with the anger. But if it just comes, like if you're in the middle of the road driving and you get flushed with anger, you can't be like, oh, I'm going to go garden now. Oh, I'm going to run to the gym now. Like those things aren't accessible. So like those are like helping you not be in a state of anger, right? So like that gets out that way. However, what are you doing to address the underlying reason of why you're angry? So when I started doing all this work during COVID, my 12 steps, all this stuff, you start looking at, especially television, so radio into television into the internet, men are portrayed a certain way. So men are like angry. That's like how it kind of like came back from the war, and anger, don't upset dad. And then like men are kind of a little bit like greedy in the 80s and then goofy in the 90s. And now it's like this really, no one really knows what a man is, to be honest. But one thing throughout from the World War II, from like 45 until now, 25, so that's 80 years, men get angry. Oh, you should see him. He gets so angry. I get so angry. But I got so angry. And everyone seems to be okay with it. But I know what it does to the body. But if you just think about yourself, when did it start? Like, was it your grandpa that got angry? Was it your dad? Was it your uncles? Did you think it was cool? I thought it was the coolest thing in the world because I would get angry. People would do what I said. And then I just usually go back and apologize. And I meant it. And then when I was going, it just stopped working. Like, and I'm so happy that it stopped working because I didn't want to be angry anymore. So do you still want to be angry? If that's the way you want to be, then there's no point. Turn the video off. But if you want to stop being angry all the time, figure out when it started. Like, What did you see when you were 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 years old? Teachers at your school yelling? Were your parents? Did your father yell? Did the men at the school yell at any organization we're part of? Like, did you see it in television? Did you see it in movies? What's your favorite movie? Who's your favorite character? Did they yell? Some of the movies I grew up watching, I mean, that's what Goodfellas, if you look at Goodfellas, it's like they're calm and then they're yelling, it's just like they're not upset and then they're super upset, angry, and yelling, and then there's violence. And this is, all of this is designed. And the reason why I'm doing all of this is so that you know that you're human, you're a man and you're human with so many flaws. But in that perfection is your wholeness. There's the shadow side and your light side. So yeah, you get angry, but you have so much more beauty. And I want to help you get out of the anger and get to the beauty, to be in that state of joy more often. And when I started doing the work, what I realized was like, oh my God, it's so nice to be a different way. So nice to be a different way. And when I was doing my 12 steps, I did the 9th step where you make amends where possible. And I yelled at someone so bad. It's so funny. I used to run, and I used to be one of the managers of an ashram for one of Sri Ravi Shankar's ashrams in Quebec. So one of Gurudev's ashrams, and just so delusional thinking I was spiritual because I was close to him and I managed an ashram. So it's not true. Anyways, so I yelled at someone one day because they didn't have breakfast out and there was a line of people. Like that helped that situation. All it did was like, I was upset, people were waiting, and I was like, I told you, we had a meeting about this. And I screamed and yelled, and then like I went back, and that was like probably the first to remember being like, oh, that wasn't good. Like not like, oh, like not go apologize, but like, I got to fix this. And then a lady from Toronto, who's a really good friend, she said, well, you usually start with no and go to anger. That's what you do. And I was like, oh my God. So when I was doing my 9th step, I called this girl. I messaged her. I was like, hey, can I talk to you? I'm doing some process and I'd like to speak to you about something. She's like, sure. And I started talking to her about this day, and she's like, got emotional, started crying. She's like, I can't believe I've been waiting for this phone call. I've been waiting for this phone call. That anger that I threw at her is stuck to her. And luckily, she picked up my call. Some people wouldn't talk to me when I did the 9th step, but she did, thankfully, by the grace of God. And I was able to make amends. But that's how impactful anger is. So, and I just taught a course up at Camp Santosh, the summer camp I run. And I was talking to the teenagers about anger, and I was like, well, let's talk about anger. And how many think it's a bad emotion? And they didn't really, I'm like, let's be honest. And like most of the kids of the 33, about 30 of them raised their hands. So I'm not saying anger is a negative emotion, It's not it. It's an emotion. It happens. But it's when we take that anger and throw it at someone like I did that day with that girl, it can stick on them for so long. And just an apology isn't enough. That's where the work is. So if you're still watching, what is the work that you need to do? What do you need to address? What you need to look at? Where's the anger coming from? And do you want to live with this running the show? That's your compass. That's your North Star. If so, great. If not, start doing the work. It's incredible when you do it. It's amazing. So I have a uncle. He's one of the most amazing men I've ever met. And I was out with another one of my uncles who just passed. God bless his soul. Love that guy. He was my hero forever. And he told me about this other uncle, and I didn't believe him. I'm like, no, he wasn't like that. So he told me, and I went to see this guy. And this guy's literally the nicest I've never met. Probably top 5 nicest people I've ever met. And I was like, hey, I heard this story. Can we talk about it? And he's like, yeah, let's go out for tea. So we went out on the most beautiful street in Halifax. And for 3 hours, he told me the story about, I had 2 emotions, present state of like contentment, happiness, awareness, like one state, like and this other emotion was anger. All I had, happiness and anger. And he said, then I said, well, what did you do? And he said, I went away on a Jesuit weekend because my life was falling apart every which way, with addiction and my marriage and my children and everything. And he went away on this weekend, and he came face to face with when his anger started, and he let it go. And he became like the nicest person ever. It's like a road to Damascus story. And I'll never forget that. And if he can do that, anyone can do it. If I can do it, anyone can do it. And his was going to a Jesuit weekend. Mine was breathing and meditation under Art of Living and Sri Ravi Shankar. And then the 12 steps. That was my way. And so you need to find your way. How are you going to get to the root of your anger? What is your anger? Get to the root of it. But you can find a way. And there is another way to live besides being angry. And just drop the narrative. Drop it. No longer have it. You don't need it. Okay? I made a video where you can learn some simple breathing, a 5-minute reset, and a simple reframe for the mind. Click on it, check it out, and have some benefit.